Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Here in Season 5 of Warzone and MW2, we've seen a few interesting changes go live to gameplay that actually affect some of the settings you might want to be using in-game to really optimize your overall experience and get the best competitiveness out of just your settings straight up. So today, I wanted to go through and highlight a few specific settings you want to be focusing on in like all the main settings categories, if you want to call them that. So we're going to be talking some graphics stuff, some controller stuff. Some stuff will be applicable for console, some for PC, some for both, but hopefully this can help improve your overall experience in game. So first up, we're starting in the keyboard and mouse section, but not for anything that has to do with keyboard and mouse. It's actually because if you're playing on PC, you might have noticed that a few updates back in your graphics settings, there was one setting that was removed, except it wasn't actually removed, it was just moved. And that is the NVIDIA Reflex low latency. Basically, this allows you to optimize your game a bit more and get a few extra frames out of your game in exchange for, you know, maybe drawing a little bit more from one of your components, your CPU or your GPU. So if you haven't had this on because you thought the setting was deleted, go into the keyboard and mouse settings. It's right here at the very top of mouse, and you can see you can change between having it off, which is what it might be on by default, unfortunately. You can have it on, which is just optimizing your system latency and allowing less input lag in general for your game, which is obviously huge. And then on plus boost is still optimizing for low latency, but it also does stuff with your GPU and your CPU. Additionally, GPU clock frequencies are kept high in CPU bound cases. This can reduce your latency, but it'll increase your GPU power draw. So if you have a decent graphics card, like for instance, I've got a 4090 in my current rig, I can have on plus boost here and it should be helping my game even more. So having this on or on plus boost is going to be a huge game changer for PC players to basically just have more frames, which in this game is obviously huge because with every single update, we're losing frames. Now in controller, there's a few things I want to touch on here, and obviously this applies to console and PC if you use a controller on PC. Initially here with aim assist, there's been a lot of talk recently about aim assist being stealth nerfed or some updates going on with it that make it seem like it's less consistent. For what it's worth, aim assist can be so wildly overpowered in some situations, but then almost non-existent and beyond just annoying in other instances. And there's not really a clear balance and there's no consistency from one to the other. It's just at random times in random games, it feels really strong, and sometimes it feels like it's not there at all. There has been some bugs as of late where it wasn't showing up in like the firing range, or sometimes in the gulag you weren't having aim assist, which is obviously super rough. But currently, when it comes to aim assist, and as cheesy as it is, if you want to abuse it the best, what you're looking to use is the Black Ops aim assist type tethered with the dynamic aim response curve type. This is going to allow for that rotational slowdown where basically anytime your character is moving in game with your left stick, you're going to have that slowdown if someone enters the little bubble of aim assist. So having those two on together and sort of tethered in there is going to be the most consistent way to break it in some of those super cheesy situations where, yes, it is clearly way too overpowered and probably could use a nerf, but it's still going to be vulnerable to those situations where it's non-existent. Sometimes if you're shooting past like a railing or something, or certain you know, bushes or shrubbery in game, it'll mess up and sort of go away. That's going to happen to every single aim assist type though, unfortunately. So having these two on, dynamic and Black Ops, that's going to be the go-to for the most broken in a good way aim assist. Even though regardless, there's still broken aspects of aim assist all across the board. Another thing, if you're not doing this already, is setting custom sensitivity per zoom. If you're someone who goes back and forth between using maybe a red dot, iron sights, an AIMOT V4, 3.4 times, or like sniper scopes, you're going to want to set this up so you can be as accurate as possible between all those. Now, for me personally, I like some of my lower zoom scopes being a slightly lower sensitivity because I play on like a 9.8 in game, so it's a little bit higher. It's about the middle ground, honestly, which is consistent for close and long range, but I like to be accurate over range, and usually in this game at least, you're not using many high zoom optics unless you're just straight up sniping because of the increased visual recoil. So when you have those lower zoom optics, like 2 to 3 times, 4 to 5, even just general low zoom or iron sights, I want to lower this a little bit so I can be pinpoint accurate when trying to pixel trace enemies, basically, who could be 70, 80, 90, 100 meters away on head glitches or in hard to see spots. Your accuracy will thank you when you go through and you fine tune these. Now, this is just my preference. If you're wondering why I have like 0.83, by the way, it's because I have a keyboard plugged in and a mouse plugged in where you can go through, you can actually type the exact one you want to have in here and have it pinpoint valued. Whereas on controller, you're just going to be able to increase it by increments of 5. So keep that in mind. Even if you're playing on console, you can plug in a keyboard and mouse and, you know, change these values to something specific if you wanted to. By the way, as we're going through all the settings here today, if you guys are new to the channel, I got you covered with quite literally everything you need to know about COD, news, updates, loadouts, tips, you name it, it's going to be right here. So feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications to always stay up to date. And if you enjoy this video, if you find it helpful at all, let me know by dropping a like on it. Would be seriously appreciated as well. Also, shout out to my friends over at G Fuel. You guys always see me repping this, and pretty much every time I'm jumping on a game, I got a can or I got a bottle next to me here because it's a game changer. It gives you that added boost. Maybe you're going for the new Champions Quest rewards, or you're just trying to, level up in ranked, whatever the case may be. G Fuel's got something for you. If you're looking for one of the many flavors they've got something for everybody. You can get a starter pack to try certain flavors, then if you like them, upgrade to the full-on tub, or you can go all out on the cans as well, which they have some phenomenal flavors for as well. My top 3 tub flavors right now in general got to be watermelon, hype sauce, and then starfruit. I've been drinking those a ton lately. They are all phenomenal. You can throw in code immortal at checkout for 20 to 30% off your order, and the link for that'll be down below. Another wildly important setting here, especially post season 5, is invert slide and dive behavior. As we previously discussed, sliding now is a lot more aggressive, and it's going to be a movement mechanic that allows you to get back into the action and start shooting your gun quicker than if you were diving. And while dolphin diving has been sort of the movement meta since the start of Warzone, because sliding was just so negative in so many different ways, stopped you from shooting, it was super slow. Sliding is now a much more aggressive maneuver, and I've personally been integrating this into my gameplay a lot more. So I've recently switched from inverted to standard here. So that's just simply tapping to slide. So that's a little bit more consistent. You can spam that more in your movements, and it's solid. Like, it definitely throws enemies off, especially because a lot of players are used to enemies diving and not sliding. It's pretty nice. So that's a big one that I've changed recently. Now, a couple of things in graphics. This brand new eco mode is actually a thing that was added in with season 5. And if you haven't caught it yet, by default, this turns minimal on, which means in your menu and sometimes in certain instances in game, it's going to limit your resolution and limit your frames. Like, I noticed my FPS was way different on the menu when this was on, and it just feels really weird. So in case you don't want this on, you need to go through and turn this off manually because it's not off by default. Now, if you're trying to save power and conserve energy, maybe you want to have it on, but I don't think so many people have that in mind if they're spending hours on Warzone every day. I also see a lot of questions about, things like depth of field and film grain. If you have anything on in the post-processing effects section here, you're doing yourself a disservice. Turn off motion blur, turn off weapon motion blur, turn off depth of field. That's when you ADS, your surroundings are going to get blurry. You don't want that. And especially turn off film grain. For instance, on Al Mazrah, if you have this turned on, say you're fighting in the desert where it's already kind of grainy, you've got the sand flying through the air and sometimes on your screen, it's sometimes hard to spot enemies as is. If you have film grain on, you're making it even more difficult to spot enemies. So absolutely turn this setting off. Now, for audio, there's a couple of things I want to mention here specifically. One, when it comes to your master volume here, regardless of what audio mix you're using, because this is largely preference based at this point, footsteps are going to suck regardless. I hate to break it to you, but in your master volume, one, music offers no vital information whatsoever, so you can turn that off, but make sure you have effects volume as your loudest option. This is going to be gunfire, footsteps, dogs barking, things like that. Anything that's going to give you information on enemy whereabouts, that's through effects. So make sure this is your highest volume setting and the loudest out of all of them. And then dialogue, you probably want as the second loudest, so you can hear like enemy dropping in overhead and stuff like that. So just definitely focus on that. If you really want in-depth audio, guys, though, I gotta point you guys to Art is War. Man is a wizard when it comes to audio. Go and check out his videos and his channel. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. He has some super in-depth audio setups that mess around with certain settings on your PC and certain apps that can really help with footstep audio, way more so than just changing one of these settings in game. Another quick one, the reduced tinnitus sound. Turn this on. It's gonna basically limit the ringing in your ears. Who wants to hear that? Turn this on and there's less ringing. That's a great thing. And then the last thing I want to focus on here just real quick is the network in-game alert icons. This is something you want to have on because especially with Warzone and even MW2, with how bad the servers are, we know there's constant packet bursts, lag, ping spikes. So having this on is going to show these notifications in game with the various different icons that'll tell you, okay, the entire lobby is getting packet loss right now, or packet burst, or something is going on there. Having these on basically just confirms that it's not just you necessarily always seeing these. You can, communicate with your teammates. Hey, are you guys seeing this icon in the top left? Do you guys have packet burst icon right now? And it's like, yeah, okay. well, clearly the entire server sucks and it's maybe not just your internet. So yeah, that being said, those are some key settings you want to look out for here in Warzone Season 5, and that's going to wrap things up. Hopefully this video helped you out. If it did, let me know by dropping a like on it. Would be really appreciated. And if you're new here, you want to guarantee you're always up to date with everything going on in COD, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I will catch you guys later. Peace out.